At some point, did you get an agent? You're doing this summer stock, you're doing theater. Did you segue into getting an agent once you got to New York and start to get commercials or?
I didn't. I went to work at a classical rep company, an off-Broadway classical rep company. So that was like a training ground for me. It was 9 shows in rotating rep: Shakespeare, O'Neill, Beckett, Count of Monte Cristo, and it was, Importance of Being Earnest. So I played Reverend Chasuble, but got to cover Lady Bracknell at a certain point. So that was 8 shows a week and a different play every night, and sometimes 2 different plays in the same day. So I decided to move to Santa Fe, where I had some exposure to Santa Fe because I had friends. There's a campus of St. John's College in Santa Fe, and I had visited them there, and I liked it, and I thought I'd go and write. But the discipline of writing has always been a challenge for me. So I ended up doing movies that would come through, producing plays, being in plays. So I made a living for myself doing movies and theater. And you live off box office. You get it's a great training ground also. And at a certain point, I produced a 3-penny opera, and it was almost really, really good. And I realized that it was the almost part that bothered me, and it was just too small. So I ended up moving to LA right into the teeth of an actor's strike, was invited back to join an equity theater that had then opened in Santa Fe for the summer. Did Cyrano with Michael York and John Randolph in the front page. John Randolph was a principal in the Ensemble Studio Theater in New York and LA, which took me into auditioning for the Ensemble Studio Theater, which took me into eventually meeting my wife, who was also an actor. And I started writing for the ensemble, a few plays that I had readings of, never really felt like I finished well enough to release. And so I have a great talent for starting things, and a little more challenged in finishing. So, and at that point, I was less and less interested in acting. The more I acted on film, the less interesting it was to me. Film acting made me nervous in some way. Where you could throw me on stage, it wouldn't bother me at all. And I was always too aware of the whole shebang of the shooting and the schedule and all the people that are there. And I would think about the whole, where really an actor needs to be completely self-centered. And everybody is there for me to do this thing, which is the fact. I never quite made that turn. It's not quite in my nature. So I had started writing, and then Noni, my wife, and I started writing together. And she invited me to join this very informal writing group called the Writer's Block. It was an outgrowth of a group in New York. I think there's a commercial business by that name, but we just met in a living room, and you would schedule work. So I used it as a deadline. It was some kind of accountability. So I have tremendous belief in having some kind of external structure like that. At least I need it.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Selling Your Screenplay podcast. If you'd like to hear the full interview, just go to sellingyourscreenplay.com/podcasts. Or to go directly to the episode, just use the link in the show notes. Thanks for watching.